boys. It's game time now.
All right, welcome, Guardians fans. We are here on April 8th, 2026, and this doesn't happen every year. Your first place, Cleveland Guardians in April, are we're in first place. I'm here. It's Gary Fair, Logan Bruce, and the Guardians are, for the first time I can, and recent memory, are starting off hot here in April. How's it going, Logan?
Good, man. Things are going well. That's what we were looking at this before. We are one of 2 8-win teams in the American League right now. And I think we're Browns fans also, so we always somehow have a positive attitude, but I don't think we saw this one coming.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we're used to, especially with the offense that they put together every year, we're used to, not to be negative, but kind of like AAA guys coming in here and not getting really hot until at least June. So this is definitely, not that the offense has been super hot, but they have been good enough so far. And, the pitching has been there already. So this has definitely been a fun season so far. And, this is what I think the Guardians need to do every year. If they're going to be a team that contends, which they usually are, give them credit for that. They got to start off hot. This is what they need to get folks into that stadium to watch them.
Right. Yeah. I think the earlier we can get rolling, even the game that I went to, it was 40 degrees. Just the fact that they're winning gets people at the stadium, and there's no doubt that helps the players.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been wonderful. Your Guardians are 8-5. And we know we're 2 weeks into the season, but it isn't too early to start, speculating wildly on what is to come. But an 8-5 record that does go out to a 99 win season. So 99 wins. That's that's the 96 Indians. That's
what did we do last year? I mean, we were in the 80s, I guess.
We're in the 80s. It's been a while since the Indians or Guardians have had a team like that. 99 wins. That's Albert Bell, Kenny Lofton, Jeff Kent, Kevin Seitzer. Yeah. That was a heck of a team that we had in 96. It's not comparing this team to that team, obviously, but ESPN is already picking the Guardians to pitch their way into the World Series. So if there's any semblance of an offense, this could be a really, really, really fun year for the Guards.
Yeah, I think that is kind of, fortunately and unfortunately, how we approach all of these seasons. I remember last year, just the offense, it had so many question marks that I was excited when we brought Nolan Jones back. He ended up not making the roster this season, but it's just like, for whatever reason, like our pitching is just always there. Gavin Williams, I actually have the stats up. I should have sent them to you so we could pull them up, but right now he's 1-1 with an unfortunate loss, but he has a 2.04 ERA, 25 Ks. Joey Cantillo is he's 1-0, 2.4 ERA. Bybee 3.2 ERA. Parker Messick 0.82 ERA. Like, if your offense struggles, the name of the game is to get those starters 6-7 innings if they can, of like 1 or 2 run baseball. That's the only way you're going to stay in it if the team is not that great offensively. And
yeah, for sure. And I was listening to Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show earlier today, so shout out to those guys and Mikey McNuggets, who came up with this one. He was talking about the last month of the season last year, and then our first couple weeks here. So something about like in the last 38 games, they have an ERA of like 2.34, which I don't know that that's necessarily sustainable, but I mean this is this pitching staff has picked up right where it left off. A lot of times when the season ends, you don't necessarily see that momentum carry on. But this year it has. And, Carl Willis has just been incredible. He back 20 years ago, he helped put together those seasons for CC Sabathia, who just had an incredible appearance on All the Smoke. If you haven't had a chance to listen, All the Smoke is becoming one of my favorite podcasts. They've been doing a baseball version of it. They've had recently Eric Davis, Kenny Lofton. It has been awesome.
They had Mookie Betts at one point. He might have.
All right, it looks like we got a first phone call coming in here. We're going to say you can give us a call, 216-236-4162. And we got somebody calling in here. All right, and you're on the air. Who are we talking with? I mean, you want to take this, Logan, or do you want me to start it?
I was just texting you. The audio messed up. You're going to have to take it.
All right. So did you hear what he asked?
No.
All right. Give me 1 second here. Let me get us over. All right. I'm sorry, caller. Do you want to ask that question again?
It's still not working.
All right, so I apologize, guys, if you guys can't hear it. So we had Mike calling in here asking if after the All-Star break, if the Guardians are going to be able to keep it going, or if we're going to see a dip here.
After the All-Star break?
Yeah, like are they going to be able to keep this up?
I think so. That's where, I mean, it's not like there's a difference between, and thank you for calling, Mike, and the question.
And thank you for calling, Mike.
Yeah. There's a difference between if we were 8-5 right now because our offense is going crazy. I think that's something that you find is a little bit more unsustainable throughout the season. Just, if everyone on the team's hitting 300, that doesn't tend to last. But these pitchers, and again, you mentioned Carl Willis. I think if any part of our team can sustain that level of success throughout the year, it would be the pitching. So yeah, and they've also, I think, Gary, you've mentioned it too, or you mentioned it right at the start. Like, we don't necessarily start off the season very well. It is usually after the All-Star break that we start to pick things up. So I think that will tend to be that'll continue to be the case.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. Usually, the Guardian seasons kind of seem to go the same way every year. So you can kind of, give a little bit of your prediction there. But this year is going a little bit different than it normally does. I kind of feel as though, good pitching will sustain, the season. There are some ups and downs, and there are injuries, and there are slumps in pitching, just like there is with everything else. But, if they keep pitching like this, really the sky is the limit for this team. It kind of depends on what they're willing to do at the trade deadline to try and bolster this lineup. We've talked about, some of the guys that, last week we talked a lot about Travis Bazzana, and we'll get into that here in a little bit, but, it just kind of depends on, if Brito hits and if you call up Bazzana and what you're going to do over there, right? If Quan can get it together, if he can hit in the outfield there. You've got a couple of hitters that are there every year, that will do it for you. But now, it's time for these young guys to step up. The Guardians have put a lot of stock in these young guys. They have the lowest payroll in baseball, which is fine if your young guys are producing. Manzardo can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn right now. He's had a couple of hits here and there, but, he's still hitting under 100. Angel Martinez looks like he can, Angel Martinez has looked good here and there. And I would love to see a guy like him stick. You love to have a switch hitter with a little bit of speed, can play all the outfield positions. I would love to see him sticking around here with us. But, you just don't know. A lot of it is going to depend on what happens with Bazzana. He's our top prospect, and he's not hitting right now. And that's a problem. You can't call him up if he's not hitting.
Yeah, and if you do call him up, so Gabriel Arias, he was playing pretty well. He was hitting the ball. He had a couple dingers. And then actually the game that I went to on Monday, I think it was, he injured his hamstring. And again, naturally, we've been waiting for this guy to kind of turn it on and, start hitting some home runs. He's got a great arm at shortstop, but then he gets hurt. So then the question is, and we were talking at the game about it, actually, even with one of the employees that we were talking to, who are we going to call up? Is it going to be Bazzana or Brito? And it's kind of well, if you call Bazzana up, he has to stay. And do you think he's ready now to be called up and stay here? And obviously, I guess the Guardians did not think that it was time to call him up because they called up Brito.
For sure. I mean, but I think it was Brito's time, though. Brito has spent that time as a prospect. You talked about before loving having Nolan Jones back. I mean, he was who you gave Nolan Jones up for to begin with. He's the guy that that you gave him up for him, so, you got to give him that shot, especially with, and I'll pull up Bazzana's stats here. Bazzana, if you look here, he's not really hitting the ball.
Right.
So that's not necessarily especially the Guardians. The Guardians have a thing where they like to call guys up when they're hot. And Bazzana's just not hot. He's also dealt with a lot of injuries. So we just kind of see where it goes here. But Bazzana's got to get hot, and it's for being the first overall pick here. It's starting to look a little scary here for the Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, he has time, especially if Brito, he has a couple doubles. It's not such a small sample size. It doesn't really matter what he's done so far, but he does have a couple doubles already. And it's I agree with you. It was Brito's time. We've been hearing of him and waiting for him to get called up for a couple years now. So it just makes sense, I think, to call him up, give him a shot. And honestly, the best thing that could happen is that he continues to perform. We almost, not that we want to get clogged up in the middle, but if Arias comes back and we have Brito, Rocchio, Arias, all three of them can make an impact in the middle infield. Carl is a wizard. And Jose, we can talk about that in a little bit, but that's the thing, is he's not even going yet. He's not even hitting that well yet, and we're still winning ball games. So I think once Jose turns it on, that it'll be scary. It is the best situation though for Bazzana right now. If we continue to win games, there's no pressure for him to get called up. And you have the Connor Griffins that we talked about, the guys that get called up when they're 19 or 20. That makes us feel like there's pressure. Okay, this guy's 23, he's a bust. But realistically, if he gets called up at age 24 or 25 and does very well, then it would be a solid pick. I mean, you would be a superstar, but
I don't know about not for being the first overall pick in the draft, though.
Yeah, MLB's a crapshoot in the draft.
It is, but MLB is starting this thing where, it used to be guys would go into the minor leagues and they'd be there for a while. It just seems as though now in the minor leagues, these guys are coming up quick. They've they're coming up quick. They get drafted, and within a year and a half, they're in the majors, especially first rounders. Not all guys. I'm not saying guys taken in the 12th round are going to be up in a year and a half, but these high first round draft picks, it's a year and a half, 2 years, and if it's not that, they start to talk bust. And we're hitting 2 years now with him, and he has had a lot of play time that has gone away because of injury, and now that he's healthy, it's like you're not hitting. And for a team that needs, this isn't the Yankees, this isn't the Dodgers, even the Padres. They need these guys they have to hit the ground running. And I think that was one of the big pressures when they had this draft pick was which is going to be the guy that hits the ground running. There was a couple sluggers that were in this draft that I don't know necessarily have done anything, but now that you're starting to see guys come up, the kid from Pittsburgh, for example, there was what's his name from St. Louis, JJ
Weatherholt.
Weatherholt, right?
Yeah, he's a beast. And that's what I almost wonder, like what the Guardians and everybody, all these other teams, like Pittsburgh's called up. Like they called up Paul Skeens. Obviously, that dude was probably ready when he was in college to be a pro. But they called up Griffin right away. It seems like we are still one of the only, and I could probably get proven wrong if we went through every MLB team, but just because we watch the Guardians so closely, it seems like we are one of the only teams that still is kind of in the old school, let these guys stay in the minors for a little while and figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had, like, even DeLauter has dealt with injury, so that's why he wasn't up. But have we ever immediately called someone up recently?
I mean, not really ever. Even Lindor, because they wanted Lindor, they wanted the clock to stop on Lindor. So the Guardians do this thing where they want the arbitration clock to, go out a little bit on these guys, so they don't necessarily call them up a little bit. But that was a thing, with Lindor. But I remember, Chris Sale when he was a White Sox. I mean, he was drafted and pretty much was in the major leagues immediately.
Right.
And that's really when I remember that. I remember that sort of starting. He was kind of the first, and I could be wrong. There could have been guys before that, but that's when I remember that it really starting was like Chris Sale got drafted, and then all of a sudden he was in the major leagues, and it was on. Now teams started to want these guys, these high first round draft picks, to get them up in the league as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah, I'm just taking a look through here, just at some of the 24 draft picks. And there are, like Kansas. We actually just got done with the series with Kansas City. The Florida guy, Caglianone, he's been up since like the tail end of last year.
That's who I was thinking about that when we're talking about the slugger.
Yeah, Nick Kurtz is actually, like, to be fair, I mean, Bazzana's left-handed too, but if we would have drafted Nick Kurtz or Caglianone, who are also left-handed, I probably at the time would have complained about it because we have so many left-handed hitters. But yeah, like Nick Kurtz went crazy last year. Immediately got up here and just started hitting bombs in Sacramento, wherever the hell they're playing right now for the A's.
Yeah, for sure. And we want to thank you guys all for listening and participating. You guys can go ahead, leave comments. We will include them on the show. If you're on there on YouTube, Facebook, all the other platforms, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. You can also give us a call, 216-236-4162. We're still figuring out some of the technical stuff. So if we're not able to get the call on the air, I will at least be able to hear it and get everybody your question on the air. But Chase DeLauter, we had a good first week with him here. You had that hit song out here in Cleveland about Chase DeLauter, and he has not slowed down this past week. He's been a monster. I don't remember a rookie like this. Even when Manny came up, when Manny came up in 93, he didn't hit like this. And even in 94, he smashed, but he didn't smash the ball. He still hit 260 that year.
Yeah.
And this is only 2 weeks, so it's not to say that Chase DeLauter isn't going to hit 240 by the end of the year. It's still very possible. But I don't remember we've had rookies come up and have great first couple weeks. Kevin Kuzminoff, came up and had a hell of a first week or two, and then that ended. so we've had these things before, but I don't remember having a top prospect come up and just immediately, I mean, he looked great in the playoffs. And now in the first couple weeks of the season, I mean, he has carried this offense.
Yeah, I think he had that one, like the bad misplay in the outfield. And honestly, I think him playing in the playoffs last year is one of the big reasons why he's off to this start. Like, you imagine like working your whole life to get to the majors, and then if you make the opening day roster and you've never played in the pros yet, like the amount of nerves that go into that. Like, this dude already had the worst of the worst. He got thrown in the playoffs and made a bad play while he was out there. Like, he played relatively well, but he made a huge error. So it doesn't get much worse than that. Like, there was not really any pressure for him to start the season. And we'll see. Like, he probably will. Like, he'll end up slowing down. He was on pace for over 100 something home runs. I think he'll end somewhere around 80 or 90 home runs.
Most likely.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
And that's not a bad rookie year, right?
No,
80, 90 home runs.
Almost as good as Albert Bell.
Yeah.
But it's just cool, like, to see, like, we were at the game on Monday and just his walk-up song, the Country Roads, like, just to hear like everybody in the stadium cheering it. It's like the dude's already immediately a fan favorite. And I think, with Jose, like, that's another thing that the team kind of has been missing, is like somebody else. Like, we had it with Lindor a little bit and some of the pitchers here and there, Quan, but just somebody else to like kind of rally behind.
Yeah, man, it is definitely been fun, to begin the season here. And, but once again, the national media, I mean, it is only 2 weeks in, but it's weird, right? So they'll have the power rankings and we're not necessarily getting the love on the power rankings, right? But then on ESPN, they put out an article here that says the Guardians are going to pitch their way into the World Series. So the pitching staff is getting a lot of love here, talking about Parker Messick, Slade, Ciccone, Joey Cantillo, who, by the way, has been just incredible so far this year. Yeah. Joey Cantillo has just looked incredible.
Yeah, and he's been, like, I'll even admit it here on the show, like, he was one, and Arias was another one. Schneemann sometimes, like, whenever I get upset about the Guardians, like, Cantillo was one, Cantillo, Arias, and Schneemann are like the guys that I'll just start complaining about, like, why are these guys on the team? And so far, they've actually all proven me wrong. Like, they were doing very well.
For sure. Well, Arias is just so frustrating, man, because he has these moments where he just looks incredible. Yeah. And then he looks like he belongs in AA. And it's like, as soon as he gets going, he tears his hamstring.
Yeah. And he's out 4 to 8 weeks now.
He's going to be gone 2 months, and by the time he's ready to come back, I mean, I'm sure there'll be other injuries and things like that, but it's like his spot's gone.
Yeah.
This opportunity's gone. If Brito hits, it's Brito's spot,
Yeah, we'll see. That's where the way that Vogt coaches, just where you don't know where Schneemann's going to, like, you don't know where these guys are going to play half the time, but somehow they're just playing. Like, I think if anyone could find room for him to play somewhere, like, I mean, they could even put him at first base, who knows, but like, Vogt actually can get creative if they want to try to squeeze him in. But again, not to your point, it's not like he's a superstar that we need to force back into the lineup. But I don't, it sucks though for him. Like, he's gotten a lot of, people in Cleveland, like, talking bad about him, and they were actually booing him at the stadium last week, I think it was, and he ended up hitting that home run, and his daughter was at the game. And she did like the post-game press conference and was just saying how happy he was, like, she was, that he hit that home run. But that's like back to, we were talking about the Browns thing on Saturday on our Browns podcast. It's like, dude, just give these guys a break, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's week 2 of the season. The dude's trying. For sure. Yeah. And
it's not like Arias is a guy that you came in and signed for $30 million a year. And you know what I mean? He's a prospect that came over from San Diego, I believe. Yeah. Milwaukee or San Diego. I'm pretty sure it was San Diego. But he wasn't like a super high heralded, he wasn't a top 100 prospect.
Right.
You got to give the guy a break.
Yeah, definitely. And I will go on record to say that I'm not ready to give up on Bazan yet. I think he's going to turn it around. I think we'll see him, and I think he'll make a few all-star teams. So I'm just throwing that out there. Not saying that's what you're saying, but I'm just The Guardsmania is still behind Travis Bazzana. We just want to see him start hitting in AAA.
Oh, for sure. And that's really all we want, man. We want we don't want to. We need to have him start hitting.
Yeah.
You know what I don't want is to have a Brandon Phillips type situation. Because we're at the 20-year anniversary of that as well. We're Brandon Phillips, where he just took a little bit too long to hit. The Guardians Indians gave up on him, and he's a multi-time All-Star for Cincinnati for nothing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he gave him up for nothing. It was a reliever named Stevens. I don't remember who we got him for.
Yeah,
but, I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, you gave him up for nothing, and and he was really the longest lasting piece of that Bartolo Colon trade. People talk about Grady Sizemore, but I mean, Sizemore couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. Even when he left Cleveland, he wasn't the same. Like his prime, probably nothing against Grady, but 4 or 5 years, and then he was just kind of a role player from then on
for
out.
Sure. Yeah, he wasn't really much, over in Boston, and I think he played in Tampa, maybe the White Sox.
Yeah,
wherever it was, he ended up.
That picture leaked of him with the coffee mug. Man, dude, that was a small coffee mug you had over there. I think it just got to his head.
It sure was.
Yeah.
It's funny, like how just kind of going off on the thing, 15, 20 years ago, those sorts of things were like very big deals.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like blowing up these guys' spots, and now I feel like those things nowadays they happen. It's just like,
it
would just be another day.
Yeah,
guys are putting stuff out like that on their Instagram all the time.
Coffee mug there for? Yeah,
yeah,
it's super weird.
So shout out to MJ Dub 19 yells out, "Go Guards!" Thank you for watching over there on YouTube. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. That does a lot for us, helps out the algorithm, and allows us to not have to spend our own money on this stuff and have our wives yelling at us. So that is awesome. Thank you guys very much for supporting and watching us over there. You can give us a call, 216-236-4162 if you want to join the conversation, or you can also send us a chat. In any of the platforms that you're watching us on there, Facebook, YouTube, X, any of those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking. What's that?
Bullpen win. Mike said bullpen wins championships.
He did. What do you think of that?
I mean, he's not wrong. It kind of actually, I don't know how much you watched this week. Well, I guess we watched a good amount, but Cade Smith had another shaky outing the other day. He ended up getting through it.
I would say bullpens don't win championships; they lose championships.
We've seen that,
because if bullpens won championships, the 2016 Indians would have been world champions. That bullpen dragged that team bleeding and crippled to Game 7 of the World Series against the Cubs. That would have been the team that they won the World Series through. But the bullpen will cost you the World Series. Look at 97.
Yeah, it's almost not, I don't want to say it's like a thankless position or thankless job, but it's like either you go in there and you do the job, or you blow the game, and then you're Jose Mason. Everybody remembers who you are. Yo, Sam.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like Cade Smith. Like if he was getting his saves, like here in Cleveland, I feel like we hype up the closer, so he might be getting a little bit more attention. But it's like either you do your job and nobody says too much, or you don't, and then the whole city hates you.
And Jose Mesa, I need to touch on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Jose Mesa got a lot of undue grief because, first of all, that 95 season doesn't happen without him. That dude converted 46 of 48 saves in 95.
46 out of 48.
46 out of 48. I think he did 42 straight. He was going for the major league record at one point in time. Senior Smoke was unbelievable. he was
Smoke, is that it? That's his. That
yeah, he
his
was
nickname?
Senior Smoke is what they
Yeah.
when he would come up, there would be a Chief Wahoo up there, and
Yeah.
there would on the screen, and he would have a blanket, and he would go like this to the fire, and it would say Senior Smoke from the smoke. He was just incredible. He was throwing gas when nobody was throwing gas, throwing 99 miles an hour when that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
I just that guy got a lot of grief that I think was undeserved. Who really should be getting the grief of all that is John Hart. John Hart, general manager of the Indians at that time. I mean, he did a lot to put that team together, but he tore that team down. And he really should be public enemy number one, not Albert Bell, not Jose Mesa, not Tony Fernandez for letting that ball go under his glove. Like none of those guys. It's John Hart. John Hart let this team go.
Well, that's always, I was going to even ask you off the air about it, but since we brought it up, again, like I was 7 years old in 97, like that is my first like memories of falling in love with baseball or those 90s Indians teams, but I don't remember obviously like the specific details. My question was going to be is like, what happened? Like, I know obviously Tommy left and Manny is just Manny. Like, I feel like he was going to go regardless. But like, how did that team just implode on itself? And then, we had the 2001 team, like that was decent, but it was none of the same guys. Like, how did we manage to lose the entire team?
It really was just, so Albert Bell, he's a free agent after the 96 season. Mm-hmm. His agent goes to the Guardians and says, hey, this is what other teams are offering. And they say, there's no way you're going to get that money. And pisses off Albert Bell. And so he goes, okay, I'm going to the White Sox.
Yeah.
But they basically told him that he was a liar and that he was never going to get that money.
And he got it.
Then in 97 in spring training, it's Lofton's last year. And they're afraid that they were going to lose him as a free agent without, just like they did Albert Bell. They didn't even go to him for a contract. Like didn't even offer him a contract. Didn't ask him if he wanted to stay. Just go to him in spring training. Dude, people were shocked. I remember the day that it happened. People were like, what the hell just happened? They walk up to him and they go, hey, I just let you know we traded you to Atlanta. They traded him and Alan Embry to Atlanta for David Justice and Marquise Grissom. Right? So now, after 97, half that team is gone. You know what I mean? Your core was, so 97.
Your best power hitter and your leadoff hitter are gone.
Baerga's gone.
Yeah.
You traded Baerga in the 96 season because he was going through a slump. You traded him for Jeff Kent and Jose Vizcaíno. Mm-hmm. So, from that 95 team, Bell, Lofton, and Baerga are gone.
From a World Series team.
From that World Series team, right? You didn't re-sign Ken Hill, right? Julian Tavares is gone, who was your setup guy, who was unhittable in 95. The team was, John Hart thought that he was the reason the team was the team.
Yeah.
And thought that he could, work his magic around, and he couldn't. He in the 96 season, he had traded Jeremy Burnitz for Kevin Seitzer, who was a DH. Was a great hitter in the 80s, and he was a good hitter with us, man, but he couldn't play the field. He wasn't playing first base or third base anymore. He barely played any first base. Didn't have a lot of power. He could just hit the opposite field. He hit behind Kenny Lofton, which was okay, but like you couldn't really use him in the World Series.
Right.
He wasn't, and then at that point in 97, Jim Thome moves from third to first. So you're not really like, what are you doing? And then you're not in. Matt Williams becomes your third baseman. And so, that stuff happens. So you've broken up the team. And then in 98, you signed Robbie Alomar, and that's great. You traded Matt Williams to Travis Fryman, which is awesome. So, Travis Fryman gets his big injury. So the Tigers left him unprotected in the expansion draft for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Diamondbacks, and we trade Matt Williams because he wants to go home because of his divorce. We get Travis Fryman. So like we kind of rebuild it on the fly, and that's great. But dude, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
We had offered, I think, Manny a contract. Manny, took the money, went to Boston. similar to Tommy, Tommy, I think Tommy's money was, a lot of it was deferred. And he went home and his wife told him to take the money to go to Philly, and he went in a press conference and cried and said, "My wife is my rock." And, I had to take it, and Cleveland hated him. And that was
So we don't like Mrs. Tomey.
I mean, I don't think we care at this point, but Mrs. Tomey was definitely, public enemy number one here for a while.
See, that's what I don't like. So to me, like the narrative, because of the way that the team is run now, where the dude doesn't spend any money, like the 90s, obviously are kind of the glory days. And like the narrative has always felt like, see, we were selling out 400 something games in a row. The team was great and they were shelling out money for all these great players. But that doesn't seem like that was not like it. Yes. Like they still were paying people, but not like they let all the good guys walk when it came time to pay them.
They wouldn't pay Albert Bell $8 million a year 30 years ago. So, put whatever that means to you, whether they were paying guys or not. They were the Indians at the time were the first guys to lock up these young players before they were proven to long-term contracts. So they were definitely paying these guys, big money before they earned it.
And now they won't do that. Like now we want them to do that and they won't do it.
Yeah, but except for now that big money's big money now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's 100 million.
So they were
140 million for Pittsburgh the other day.
They're not committing $140 million to anybody now.
Yeah.
They were, and these guys, and what was happening is that these guys loved these contracts at the beginning, but then they were outplaying these contracts within 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So it was very quickly seen that the Indians were kind of taking advantage, they were taking advantage of these guys in a way.
Right.
So these guys stopped doing these contracts, and then they arbitrate, and then they had a streak where like they didn't go to arbitration with guys for decades. They were like the only team in baseball that didn't go through arbitration with guys for decades. And it was because, they were signing these guys to these deals, which was, was good for the team for a while. But, I mean, when Dick Jacobs had the team, and I don't think it was necessarily Dick Jacobs, it was John Hart. John Hart's also the guy too, that like, in the late 80s, he fired the manager and was the manager for like a couple weeks. That's that guy.
Andrew Barry did that.
Oh my God!
Feels like
I can be the head coach for 2 games.
Yeah,
that's wild. So, I just think that like I would like to see the city make up with some guys. Ernest Biner eventually got a reprieve from the city. I would really love to see Jose Mesa get a reprieve from the city.
That's weird, dude. It's such a. We talked about it last week. Closing game, like it. It's not like obviously 46 out of 48, like the dude was a beast, but it's like these are also professional hitters you're facing on the biggest stage. Like they also they're allowed to show up in their moment too in Game 7 of the World Series. Like it doesn't mean like Mesa blew the game. Maybe the other team won the game rather than Jose Mesa losing it, but nobody will see it that way.
For sure.
It's such that's such a thankless position. Either you close the game and everyone remembers that the Indians won, not even necessarily that Mesa closed it out, or he blows the game and now that's all we remember.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and what about all the starting pitching fails that got you there?
Right.
If Charlie Nagy had been the number one that we wanted him to be, then you wouldn't have had to even get Jose Mesa into that position.
Right.
Jared Wright was, he was young and man, he was, he did pitch well, but he still was pitching with a 4.5 ERA. Pete, remember that he was pitching a 4.5 ERA. He wasn't like he was lights out. What's that?
I remember him being young and like everyone was so excited, like just like he was the next Cy Young or next Nolan Ryan. And that year they had a trade on the table for Pedro Martinez at the All-Star break. Montreal was asking for Brian Giles and Jared Wright. And we wouldn't give up Jared Wright because we thought he was the next Pedro Martinez. He was going to be the next Pedro Martinez.
And the next year we traded him to Pittsburgh for Ricardo Rincon, a left-handed left-handed reliever.
He was on our team for a few years. It's come in.
Or Brian Giles. I mean, We traded Brian Giles to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, to the Pirates.
We wouldn't give up. We wouldn't put Giles or Wright in the deal. So, once again, John Hart. As much as you want to, I know that John Hart wasn't the guy in the field, but John Hart is the one that needs to get grief about this stuff, not Jose Mesa. Mesa was a dude like, you're not there. You aren't there without him. And to give this guy, I mean, Cleveland fans ruined this dude's life.
Yeah.
I mean,
you mentioned Ernest Biner like that. I don't know. Like, it still gets talked about. Biner might have had a little bit of, like, there might have been a little making up, but it's like, we mentioned Tim Couch on Saturday during the Browns show. It's like, bro, like, it at the end of the day, it's just a game. Like, Jose Mesa, I'd be curious, and he wouldn't know the answer, but like, how many death threats that guy got?
Oh, for sure.
For, like, losing a World Series game.
For sure. So it's just,
and it's a 7-game series too. It's not just one game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the biggest moment he didn't show up. But there were other games. It seems like 4 other games that we could have won in that series that we didn't. Or 3 other games.
Well, 6, really, I mean, that was it was a 7-game series,
right?
So you had, there was plenty of shots to win that series.
Yeah,
and and you didn't. And that brings us to now. This is, and that's one of the things that stinks. It's like, if they had just won one of those, this would be a baseball town.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be. I don't think we'd be fighting about trying to get people in the stands here, to the games, and but it happened the way it happened, and it is what it is, and we are where we are, and it's the Guards, and it's the movie Major League all over again every single year.
It literally, like, it's crazy. Like, this year, like the ESPN thing that you pulled up said, like, again, like, that we were gonna, like, pitch our way to the World Series, and Jose Ramirez is gonna be maybe win MVP, DeLauter Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year, Stephen Vogt. Like, obviously Jose hasn't won but he's top 5 MVP every year. It's crazy that every year for the last 3 or 4 years is the same. Like, just that we get by with what we have somehow. And I wish they would just go for it. And there's no, like, room to be negative right now. We're in first place, but if we are, like, still in this position around, like Mike asked about the All-Star break, like, around the trade deadline, I'd be curious if we are buyers that would be my big question, is, are we buyers at the trade deadline?
Yeah.
Or do we do anything at the trade deadline?
I mean, I hope so. You got to hope, You hope you hope that we're buyers. You certainly seem to have a deep enough farm system, to be able to go out there and get the pieces that you need. So we'll see. But I know that you're kind of on a time crunch here. So before we get out of here, what I want to do is each week, a big part of the purpose of this show is we want Albert Bell in the Hall of Fame, man.
Yep.
So
I got a little bit more time, so let's
you got a little bit more time.
Let's get Albert in. Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about Albert Bell for a minute.
So we're talking about Albert here. I have a couple plays here that I wanted to go over. These are some of my favorite Albert Bell. One of them is something that should put him in, that's a case for him being in the Hall of Fame. And one is just something that I watch probably once a month, just because this is just one of my favorite Albert Bell things. So this is, I don't know, maybe you've seen this. I'm sure you've seen this if you're an Albert Bell fan, but this is one of the things that's probably kept him out of the Hall of Fame. But this is one of the things that just makes me love him.
There it is, Vina. Oh, this is just like the play in the 3rd inning. And it was Albert Bell back in the 3rd inning.
We're going to show a slow-mo here. We're going to need a slow-mo to really appreciate. Albert doesn't get credit for not killing him.
Is it Fernando Vina?
The umpire could say that Bell disrupts the double play here.
Well, this isn't a dirty play. Watch Albert Bell. Does he pull his arms out? Does he give him a forearm shiver? He does. You see his elbow go out and into Fernando Vina's chin. I tell you, if he didn't
want to see that again?
That's an okay play.
We're gonna see this one more time. This is
There it is, Vina.
boom.
Oh, this is just like the play in the third inning. And it was Albert Bell.
So some would say that's probably one of the things keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. I don't know. So I don't view that as a dirty play. He was in the baseline.
Do you want me to? I won't argue.
Ron Karkovice for the White Sox did the same thing the week earlier. Did not get thrown out of the game and wasn't fined.
Was he 6'4", 280 of solid muscle?
Pretty. I mean, he was a catcher. He was a big old.
Yeah.
He was a big old boy. Ron Karkovice.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to see that and not think it was like a little bit dirty. I mean, go ahead.
Okay, but also there's context, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the third inning, same thing happened.
Yeah. See,
and
Sam's
Albert
got
told
it right here.
What's that?
Sam in the comments said Albert says it's going to be him or me. And it's
the same thing happened. And Albert told him, you can tag me, but stay out of the baseline. If you do that again, I'm going to run you over.
He wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying, right?
I mean, I don't, even if it dirty play or not, he could have ran out of the way, but they technically by the rules, he doesn't have to. So he probably didn't have to, do Ndamukong Suh the guy and, throw him 30 yards. But
I mean, all he did really was put his arms up to protect himself as he hit him.
Protect himself.
He protected himself, so that they didn't hit heads.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear your point. I just when you see it, if you watch it full speed, it's there's no way Albert was not trying to hurt this guy.
Let's go back here one more time.
Yeah.
There it is, Vina. Oh, this is just like the play in the third inning. And it was.
I mean, I think he's just protecting himself there. You know what I mean? If someone's in your way, you're protecting yourself. You're making sure that you don't take the brunt, right? I think that Fernando Vina had no business fielding that ball, to be honest.
That Bell disrupts the double play here.
Well, this isn't a dirty play. Watch Albert Bell. Does he pull his arms out? Does he give him a forearm shiver? Yeah, he does. You see his elbow go out and into Fernando Vina's chin.
Albert Bell's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was protecting himself. If he didn't do that, then his shoe might have come untied or something. Who knows? I mean, it doesn't. Either way, if we're if that and that is, it's the same type. Like you said, he's not in the Hall of Fame because he's an asshole or was. And maybe he's not, or he just played like one. I mean, there's other. He kind of was. But Ty Cobb, I brought him up last week. If there was video of Ty Cobb playing, nobody liked him, and he was the best player in the league at the time. Nobody liked him because he, I mean, it might be an urban myth at this point, but sharpened his spikes. But he would go in high with the spikes when he has all those triples and all the doubles and triples that he used to hit back in the day, and he would get them because they were scared to tag him because he would kick them with the cleats, with the metal cleats. He would try to stab people with his cleats, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure. So here is a real here is a real highlight that does.
See, that one has me thinking Albert Bell should have been in the NFL Hall of Fame. The one before.
He was a linebacker, huh?
Yeah.
All right, here's a real baseball play.
The game on the line.
The 1996 ALDS. This is I think this is Albert's last hit as an Indian, actually.
There's a long drive. Grand slam for Albert Bell.
Off Armando Benitez.
Yep.
Grand slam that wins the game. Or the go-ahead grand slam. Might have been, I think, the only game we won in this series when Baltimore upset us. And this would be pretty much the last time you would see Albert Bell and Kenny Lofton on the team together.
Yeah.
El Presidente is gone after this.
There's Brian Giles walking in the dugout.
Yep.
Peyton Cole.
I mean, and look at that. They call him a malcontent, but look at him going out and getting the crowd.
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember Albert Bell.
Dude, that's what I miss, dude. And they're even like Edwin Encarnacion is not Albert Bell, but like just somebody to come in and just smash the ball, like and get the crowd hype, like those 2016 teams, like or the 2016 team. Like that's what Guards baseball should be. I just want somebody to, I don't know, like that's exciting baseball. And I like the way the Guards play now. They find ways to win, but just somebody that can go out there and hit 40 home runs a year, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, for sure. You need a couple of those guys. That's how you win. Because in the playoffs, pitching is so good that you need to have guys in your lineup that can make these pitchers pay for mistakes.
Yeah,
and those guys cost money. They're premium players. You're going to have to pay money for those guys, and that's where really the Guardians. Every year in the playoffs, that's where they get exposed. They don't have those guys. So we get to the playoffs, we get deep, but then we get exposed. Because we don't have those guys that can make them pay.
Yeah, it's like we get lucky sometimes, like Rajay Davis's home run or Big Christmas a couple years ago. Like it happens randomly, but I don't know. I would just like to see a lineup and DeLauter might be the start of it too, with him and Jose. Just like a 1-2 punch that could put it out of the park or hit a double whenever. But I was looking at Albert Bell's stats after you brought him up last week. I went back and looked at him. He definitely should be in the Hall of Fame. It's not like he had a 3-year prime where he was doing 35 home runs and 100 ribbies. It was pretty much his whole career looked like a prime, which is kind of crazy. Like he had 8 or 9 years where he was putting up 30 to 40 bombs and 120 ribbies. Yeah,
for sure. I think he had 9 years where he hit 30 home runs and 100 RBIs.
Yeah. Like that.
9 straight years. I mean, that's, if you're going to put Kirby Puckett in the Hall of Fame, how do you not put Albert Bell in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. We talked about it before. I'm like, for better, like the 90s, if they use steroids, it is what it, like, I don't know. It's still a decade of professional baseball. Like those guys, like Barry Bonds he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. All those guys do. He's actually, like Albert Bell and Mark McGwire might be two of the largest human beings that have played baseball that I've seen. Like if you just look at like Mark McGwire just was massive.
Sam, we can leave that out. We're trying to make the case for him being in the Hall of Fame. We're gonna ban Sam La Cavera the more he brings this other stuff up. We're trying to make the case. It sounds
to me like he's saying that Albert had a good arm.
That's true. Albert had a good arm.
Yeah.
He also hit Hannah Storm with that arm too in the outfield during the 95 World Series. But I digress.
Yeah.
So, the Guardians are going next up. They are in Atlanta. They have a 6-game road trip starting in Atlanta. 6-game road trip. When we talk next week, what do you think they're going to be? What do you think they're going to be doing?
I think they're going to win both of the series. I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
They're going to win both of them. What about you?
You think we're going to come back 4-2 record?
Yeah.
Okay. 4-2 record. Any other predictions for the week till we see each other next?
Jose's going to start to heat up a little bit, and so is Quan.
Okay.
And I think we're going to come back here, and Bazana's going to have himself a couple of good games under his belt, and we're going to start to see him start to turn it around there too.
Nice. All right.
And
So
also shout out to Tugboat. I don't know if I don't even remember his Wilkinson, Matt Wilkinson. I don't remember his full name, but he's a prospect we have. Have you seen this dude?
I've not.
Called Tugboat. He's like a stubby, like we'll have to bring him up next episode, but he got called up to AA, which is good. He's kind of been viral because he does not look like a professional baseball player. But I think he got the call up to AA recently. So hopefully he starts to perform there, and I'd love to see Tugboat in a Guardians uniform by next year.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
The more the merrier, man.
You got to look at this guy. You got to just look him up and see what he does not look like a baseball player.
We'll look him up right now. Tugboat Guardians.
Yeah.
Matt Wilkinson, number 53, minor league baseball. Oh, I love him. He's like David Wells.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I think Tugboat Wilkinson is now going to be the official mascot of Guardsmania.
Perfect. Yeah, we got you. I would love this dude to make the team sometime in the next couple of years. That would be awesome.
And you said he's in AA now?
I think so. I think he just recently got the call up.
All right. See if maybe he's down in Akron. See if maybe we can get him on the show.
Right. Actually, my brother or Alex the Bruce, whoever that is, I don't know. 4 innings, 6 Ks, 1 run ball.
Nice.
So he's heating up.
He is. Before too long, he's going to be in Columbus, and then we're going to see him up here in Cleveland.
Yep.
All right, man. So we'll see the Guardians. They're going on a road trip. We're hoping for 4-2, win both of the series there. We got Logan here looking for a hot Quan and Ramirez, and hoping to see Tugboat in the major leagues by next week.
Yeah. It's just a great nickname, dude. You got to root for the guy.
Yeah, for sure. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, man, we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Guardians keep going. They're on like we said before, they're on the 99 win pace. If you guys are out and about this weekend, both the Bearded Browns podcast and me from the Guardsmania, I will be at the Greenie Sports Card Show out in Independence. So come out and say hi. I'll be doing a live on Sunday, and the Bearded Browns will be doing a live on Saturday. So make sure you come out and say hi. If you come out there and give a like and subscribe, we'll be giving out some old Indians baseball cards. So make sure to come out, say hi. We'll have a booth there. Anything else you want to talk about? You're going to be out playing anywhere? Anything you need to plug?
Not yet. I have some more new music, like original music on the way, and I guess next week or week after, I'll let you guys know a little bit more about that. But no, other than that, let's just hope the Guards keep on rolling.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you very much for joining us. We couldn't do this without your support. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and we will see you guys next week. Go Guards.
Go Guards.
Woo!